Hello, my name is Dr. Dorothy Shallua, and again, we are discussing chapter 9, and it talks about how to embrace failures and fumbles, coming from Unleash the Extraordinary You, the book that I authored. It is still in the bookstore in CCC Upanga here in Tanzania, as well as at Amazon.com. So if you don't have a copy, please get a copy. And I am so honored and privileged to be joined by amazing women of God. And on my immediate right, I have
Rose Gordian.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you, Mom.
Yes, and I am Veronica Onyango.
Thank you so much, Veronica.
Jacinta Obado.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Obado. All right, so I want to read just a small, something very small from the book coming out of 125. And then we'll start our conversation from there. And it says, that's 125. If you are a man or woman of vision, you will agree that failure is part of the journey to success. Without failure and fumbles, there is no success story. And we have seen it over and over that a lot of successful stories are also engraved with failures and fumbles. And by the way, you will ask me, where did I learn the word fumble? One day I was watching football with my son, and American football, and I was watching it, then a fumble occurred, and he taught me what it is, a fumble. So that's the word I got it from American football. But let me come back, because I am so excited. This is a very, very interesting topic, interesting chapter, because without failures, without fumble, a lot of times we don't grow, and sometimes we don't know how to handle them when they come. But today we are just going to go through some of this discussion on how to handle failures, how to handle fumbles, and how much they make our life and our story so rich. Remember, we are unleashing the extraordinary you. Everybody has got something in them which is so extraordinary. And believe it or not, failures and fumbles are very strategic tools. Even God uses them to bring that which is inside of you. Either it's a business, that vision, that ministry. Don't disregard or don't get disappointed when you reach the failures and fumbles. I believe God has a way of helping everybody to overcome. So I just want to briefly just start the conversation with Rose.
Yes.
And then we'll move on. How does that, what is your take from the book? You can pick anything, and then let's talk about that. What really, really touched you as you are reading about this, or from your life history? How have failures and fumbles helped you along the way?
Thank you so much, Dr. Dorothy. It's true that failures are part of the journey to success. And from my side, I see that without failures, you cannot come to explore or know where you made a mistake and what does it take for you to not repeat the mistake. Mm-hmm. So through failures, I just realized that, okay, I'm doing significant thing, I am doing important thing, but maybe at one point I did it wrong. I didn't do it in a right way, or I didn't do it in the right time. I remember the past chapters, there was a chapter of doing it in the right timing, isn't it? Yeah, so these things are depending on each other.
Yes.
Doing something right and on a right time, it will obviously lead you to not encounter these failures which are unnecessary.
Yes.
So to my side, failures are there and you need to accept it. I have already accepted my failures. I've passed across these many failures in life as till this age, and I accepted them. And they taught me a lot of lessons, and I'm still learning.
Oh wow, that's great. That's really amazing. And back to you, woman of God.
Thank you, Doctor. In the book here, you say every entrepreneur encounters challenges and experiences failure at some point in business.
Yes.
This is very true. And failure, you can learn a lot from failure. We can learn a lot from the failures that we go through. What one needs to take in very fast when failure comes your way is be positive. Look at it as a stepping stone, not as something that is going to put you down.
Okay.
A failure, when failure comes, there is something you will learn. Definitely. And that's why I'm saying failures are good. For us as we are going along. As a business person, failure is good. It should teach you what not to do and what to do next time better than how you did it before. That's why I'm saying failure is good. I think
that's great. Failures help us to grow. Failure brings so much growth, and failures tell us not what to do. I like that. We going this way and we have encountered a failure. We have brought in, like in a business, you have brought in a partner that has made you fail. And because of that, you learn next time that you will not do it with that person, or you will not do it that way. Or maybe even in the ministry, like Rose was talking about doing it in the wrong timing. Once you do it in the wrong time, then you learn, okay, so next time I will not do it maybe during Christmas, but this particular event, I needed to do it maybe during sessions when students are here. For the church that at CCC Upanga, we are a church that is full of students. So there are some things that we learn not to do when universities are closed. So we had to go through that experience to know what not to do. And want to come back with our sister Vero and see what is your take on that.
Yeah, I will just also not be very far from what Sister Jacinta and my sister Rosa said. Failures are part of life. And I will want to look at a small child. As the child is learning to walk, or even is learning to crawl, is going to fall down.
Yes.
That's part of failure. But then I love the spirit that is in children. They keep knowing that I'll have to rise and rise again. And then they perfect it.
Yes.
And even failures, they help us see the potholes in life, the sharp bends in life. So that I know if I take this route, last time when I took this route, there was a bump. And if I come next to it, I'll have to negotiate it this way. So it also in somehow prepares you to face some mountains ahead. But when they come, you know that I won't go this way, I'll take the left turn or I'll take the right turn and I'll be there.
Yes.
Yes.
I like what you're saying. And if we want to relate it also in a relationship or in disciplining children, you have little children.
Yes.
I like to pick on you because you got little children.
Yes.
And talk to us about that. Like say in discipline, sometimes we try one way and then you realize I didn't get the best response, I didn't get the best result.
Yes.
So next time you know that not to use this particular kind of a discipline. Talk to us about that.
Yes, you know when you have children or when you are handling anything, you are likely not to apply the same procedure.
Yes.
For example, you have this child whom when you just use the verbal correction, the child takes it. So you don't need the chastisement. But there is this one whom verbal correction doesn't work for him or her. Yes. It means you're going to use, maybe you might withdraw those privileges, or you might be forced to go an extra mile of using that rod, which takes away foolishness. So once you have studied this child, you will be able to know what particular discipline will work for that soul.
Correct.
Yes.
I like that. Taking responsibilities. I want us to just look into that as well, because a lot of times when failures happen, they say it's in the business, it's at home, a wife and a husband, something has gone wrong, and you meet this particular failure. And I wrote about taking responsibility. Sometimes it's so easy for us to say, or to point fingers and say, so and so has done it. It's not me. I didn't do it. So I just want us to discuss that area of taking responsibility. Once a failure has happened, how do we handle that?
Yes.
The whole issue of taking responsibility. How do we handle that? Woman of God, I will start with you. You can talk about business, marriage, relationship, wherever you want to go with that.
Thank you, Doctor. Taking responsibility. You know, when we look at failure in two ways, if you allow the failure to weigh you down, you cannot take responsibility. But if you look at failure as a stepping stone, you will not look at who caused it, but you will take responsibility, because you are part of whatever has brought, you are in it. If it's an organization, if it's a company, you are in it. You won't point fingers if only you take failure as a stepping stone. Now, taking responsibility, first, it makes you smarter, because you will see that I reached here because of this reason. Taking responsibility, now I want to go this way, so that I can come out of this and never go back here again. But if you stay and say it's not me, it is so and so, it's because of the weather, it's because of what? No. If you go that way, you are easily going to be weighed down, because you'll have something always to be pointing at because of the failure. But allow failure to be a stepping stone. Take responsibility. Move on.
I like that. Take responsibility can help too if you have a mindset as we. If you are a company, don't say you failed, but we have failed.
Yes.
So a we mindset makes it so inclusive, so you start seeing your position on that issue and identify how this failure has, how you are also part of that failure. For instance, it's so easy to point. Children are so good at that. They are so. If something breaks, let's say this cup breaks. If it is 3 children and you walk in there, the first thing, you don't even have to ask. For children, it will be like, it's not me, mommy. No, I didn't do it. And then the other person would say, I didn't do it, so who did it? But for us, as you are growing up in life, you understand if something has happened, it has already happened. Yes. We have to be responsible. Somebody has to take responsibility. And it's best if we all take responsibility and use it as a stepping stone for success.
That's true. I'm getting something from there, Doctor. Then this is something we should be taught to the children from the early age. You know, when you're bringing them up, we always teach them that failure is something bad. But look at it. If in the case of that broken cup, if you take that chance and tell them, it's not, the cup has broken, yes. But what you should learn from this is what happened for this cup to break down. That's what I want you to learn, so that next time you don't do what? No, give them a room, like it's not a mistake. It's not, somebody has not died. The cup has just broken. But now, what are we learning from the breaking of this cup? This will help these children as they grow to learn to take responsibility and move on. But if you leave them at that stage of it's not me, that's how they grow, and they will never use failure. Failure will be a stepping stone. Failure will always be putting them down, discouraging them, putting them into psychological state where they cannot even make a move. Once they fail, they give up.
Yes.
And we don't want that.
I like what you're saying, but I am getting excited to see Rose is here. And Rose has gone through a relationship, and in that relationship, we understand things happen and it didn't work out. So Rose, take us back. This failed relationship, what came out of it? What is one thing you are picking out and say, God, I'm grateful I went through that relationship. What does this failure teaches you?
Wow, thank you so much, Doctor. This failure in this relationship actually teaches me that everyone can experience failure. Why? Because there are times you see yourself as a perfection, like a perfect lady, or someone sees himself like a perfect man, you know, like he cannot admit mistakes.
Yes.
But from failure, from this relationship, I learned that, okay, everyone can experience failure. And from experiencing the failure is where now I cannot blame. As I already know that I experienced the failure, there is no point that I can point someone that he is the one who did this, or she's the one who did this. From there, I just came to myself and I realized that, okay, so this is me and this is what happened. And from here, I'm not going to blame anyone. If it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's what it taught me.
That's really good. So I like, when we go through failure, it teaches us to have grace. It just puts us in the right position that you are a human being.
Yes.
Then when you look at somebody who is experiencing failure, you should know what you need to do. Meaning, when a person is experiencing failure, this is not time to blame them. You did this, and you know, those emotions that you experience during failures, you know, you go through discouragement. Then you will understand when somebody else is going through failure. You'll understand this is a time that you need to learn to encourage others. You need to learn to lift up others, so that the whole experience of failure gives you the opportunity to know what others feel like, or what is their emotional state when they experience failure. Now I want to come back to you.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of emotions which go on when we experience failure.
Yes.
How do we overcome that when we experience failure?
Thank you very much, Doctor. And yes, whenever you fail, you know, sometimes and many times failure comes when you don't expect it. And you get surprised that, what? You mean I have failed there? Because just the way Sister Rose said that, most of the time we see ourselves as perfect people. And so we don't expect that we are going to fail. So you fail, and of course you feel so discouraged. And you feel so down. So what do? You pick yourself, and that is the time you can look for support system. We call it support system. And if it is for, maybe let's take for example a church, you can go to your pastor. If your church has a counseling office, you can seek help from a counselor, so that you don't ignore that it is so small, because it might just blow out and you might not be able to control it. If it is a child, for example, it means that at home the parents need to create an environment where the children can still come and say, look, mommy, I didn't do well in chemistry, or I didn't do well in physics. And then we just embrace them and tell them, it's okay. Let's see where you didn't do it right. Let's see what we can do. Should we get maybe a tuition teacher to help you? And you pick it up. We want to use failure not as a tool to push the person more down, but as a tool to let the person see that there is a lot in them that they can still come out and shoot up.
That's true.
And actually, there is no any sex. Like, your life cannot make sense to others if you haven't passed significant challenges.
Yes. We will come back to that. I will definitely come back to that. But I want to move on to my sister and talk about what you need to do when you experience failure, whether in business, in a relationship, or personally, maybe in a career. You can also give a testimony on that. What do we do during that time when we experience failure? How do we take failure?
Thank you, Doctor. I was wanted to begin from the emotion place.
Yes.
You know, failure, when it comes, and then you pretend that you've not gone through failure.
Yes.
It's not a good way to handle failure. Accept it has come. Feel the pain. But don't die in the pain. And that's where the support system comes. If you are born again, pray to God about this failure. Speak to Him as your Father about this failure. Tell Him how you are feeling about it. Make sure you express those emotions. Because if you don't, that's where we give up. Because you are pretending. But once you let them out, if you are good in crying, cry even louder.
Yes.
Even heaven cries.
Yeah, cry. Yes, it is a place that it's a situation that you're going through. It is reality.
Yes.
Like when you lose a contract, you cry. Yeah, let it go. Once it has gone, you don't stop there. Step.
Yes.
Put your faith in God. That's why we are children of God. Tell God, yes, I am here. But I know you are here with me.
Yes.
And you will not let me here alone. You say you will not leave me, you will not forsake me. That's where the scriptures come in as a child of God.
Yes.
And when you're saying these things, believe. Now, how will this help? If you go through it the right way, if you go through failure the right way, is the only time you can be able to help somebody else. But if you pretend, and you seem like it didn't really happen, when you see somebody going through failure, you will be very critical. You'll be pointing fingers at them. You'll be annoyed all, telling them you didn't do this, you didn't do that, because you're also hiding your feelings. You're getting me? You're hiding your feelings. That's why you are pointing fingers. You're telling them how to do it wrong, and yet you never did it wrong.
Yes.
You didn't do it in the right way.
Yes.
So that's why express your emotions. Get it out. Cry if you can cry. Pray. Shout if that helps and works for you.
Yes.
Then and then can it be good.
Wow, I like what you said. And I like to relate this what we're talking about when we read about the story of Hezekiah. When he got the letter, he went to the temple and he spread it before God.
Yes.
And that's how he prayed. I love to pray that way. When somebody makes me angry, sometimes I write them I take a piece of paper and I express my emotions. You know, there are some emotions you can't express them with other people. I like to express my emotions sometimes in a journal, in a book. I will write my emotion down. I really dislike what this person did to me. If they betrayed me, I would write that. They hurt me. Accept your emotions is one of the important steps in coming out of it. Because we see a lot of people stay in depression, they don't come out of it.
Yes.
They stay in anger, they don't come out of it. And a lot of times when we experience failure, it's like you've lost something. So you experience denial, you experience the pain, the hurt, and a lot of emotions are going through there. So if you don't process them properly, you get stuck.
That's true.
And there is a danger in getting stuck in denial. You might live a life of 10 years denying that thing happened to you. You might go through, you might not be able to accept it and go through pain. So the way you are processing pain, because you did not accept it and you are still in the process of being so hurt, as a result, everybody who comes to you, I've seen this in relationship. Somebody goes through a terrible breakup, a terrible relationship, and they get stuck right there. They are so much in pain, and they start blaming. If it's a lady, they would blame all the men. They would say, all men are like that. No, you did not heal. The best thing to do when you go through failure is to heal. Allow yourself to heal. I like what you say about going before God and praying. I love that. I just love just to go before God and scream. If I want to scream, I would express those emotions in the presence of God.
Yes.
And what God did, I've seen this over and over, the way God uses that moment to bring healing to me.
Yes.
So it starts with me, not with that failure. No, when God works in a mysterious ways. When I am healed, I can overcome anything. So that's where it starts. When we go through failure, we have to seek God to heal. Whether it's a pain of losing somebody, whether it's a pain of losing a relationship, a business, whatever it is, you have to heal. And that's why we have a sister here who will go through with us that process as well. But I want to come back here to our sister Rose and tell us that statement you said before we went to I know you made a very important statement, and I'm sure others didn't catch it. If you still remember it, I want you to carry that statement.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Actually, it's like this. If you want to be a great person, or you want your life to inspire people, young people, or your age mates, or your business to inspire other small businesses, you need to pass through significant challenges. So every significant person has significant challenges in him, has significant potential in him. So these things, they go together. And this is what I even read in this chapter. You gave a very good example, Dr. Dorothy. Like, imagine a person, a boxer. He is in a boxing ring, right? He fights. He goes down, but he still bounce up and go better. And at the end, when the boxing ends, he might be the first, who knows? So these things are like, you either, when the failure comes, you either get ready to bounce and get better, or you go silent and you die off your history to not be said again. Yeah, so that's it.
Oh, I love that. I wrote something about take note of the lessons learned. So there are a lot of lessons we learn when we go through failure. I have learned the people not to hire. In a business, I have literally learned who not to hire, what kind of people not to hire, what questions I need to ask so that I don't experience that failure during the hiring process. I have learned, because I had already failed, because I had already gone through that experience, who I should associate with. I have learned that already. So there are so many lessons that we learn. I want to take it to you and tell us, what lessons have you personally learned from failures?
Thank you, Doctor. I will use an experience. I have a section in my business. I do nanny. I look for nannies and deploy them. So I've experienced a lot of failure in that area since I began, and there are also some successes. But I've taken note of the failures and learned from them. I want to use one experience. There's a lady I had given to one of my friends. When they went there and something did not work out for them, they quickly ran to we call them serikali ya mtaa, the local government. Yeah. They went and reported and did what, and it was an issue. But there's a way we settled it, but it was a failure. From there, I scaled up my way of hiring them and my way of working with them.
So you raised the standard.
I raised the standard. We are now signing 1-year contract with person taking the lady and with the lady. And we are giving a period of
like a probationary
probation
period.
period.
Yeah.
We are giving out and all that. So from this failure, there's something I learned. But if from what had happened, it was easy for me to give up. One, I'm in a foreign land. This is a case that can come and follow me.
Yes.
If I gave up there, I wouldn't be talking about it now.
Yes.
You're seeing that. And also I was looking at a point there of learning to forgive. You know, when failures come, your heart, this is somebody had given an opportunity to get work, free of charge. She didn't pay anything. It's the boss who paid me. But then what is she doing? I am here. She would have come back to me. Why go to the local government to report? Why couldn't she come back to me? You see, if I didn't forgive, I would also remain in a trap. And that was the end of that, that job. I wouldn't have gone further. So I learned to forgive quickly and learned my lesson and learned to do things better.
Oh, I like
experience.
that. Wow. That's big. Forgive. I want to just pick up on that forgiveness. Forgiving and letting it go. Let it not hold you.
That's true.
Because sometimes we walk life with chains, things which are holding us back, and they make us not to progress. But the one thing which we can do, forgive and just let it go. Say, you know what? This is in the past. I'm pressing on towards the...
Yes.
I like that from, there's one message that my husband once, it's a series that he taught here. And forgiveness, I know, and forgiveness is a trap.
And forgiveness is the trap.
Forgiveness is the trap.
Yes.
And he drew a mouse and a trap being trapped in. I learned from, there's something that I learned from there. That when I choose not to forgive, when I choose to remain with a heart and forgiveness state, it is me who is at more disadvantage.
Yes.
You see, if I choose not to forgive her, there's no way I would have gone.
That's true.
I would have stuck there and not moved.
That's
so,
true.
And forgiveness is a trap. So choose to forgive quickly.
Choose to forgive the people who make you fail.
That's true.
All right.
Yes, I will just, I really want to stretch it, but I will say that unforgiveness is like a chain. You've chained yourself somewhere, and every time you want to move, the chain pulls you back. So I will want to help so and so, but because I'm chained here, I will not be able to move.
Yes.
Now, when I break the chain through forgiveness, I can access all the places which I want. So it works more for the person who is forgiving rather than the person who feels that is the person who was not hurt.
Yes.
Me who's been hurt, I'm the one who should forgive. But then it doesn't come so easily as such. There are some types of hurts or failures that can be so deep. We've even had people say that, I cannot forgive that person until I go to heaven. We've had such statements. But then what do? I learned over the years that the way you said, Pastor, that you bring it to God and you tell God, this particular one is hard for me to let go, but give me the grace to let go.
Yes.
As you continuously do that, you don't know what will happen, but it's like that particular feeling will just leave you and you will feel that you are lighter.
Yes. I agree with that. I also have learned to forgive by faith. I literally, even in the time that I feel like that thing is so heavy in me, I have learned to go before God and say, I am forgiving. I don't have the strength, but I am forgiving so and so by faith.
Wow.
And every time that unforgiveness comes back, I go back to God and I go back with that prayer. I am forgiving and I declare it all the time. When I feel like the unforgiveness is still holding me, the chain is still, I still go back to God and I declare it. I have forgiven you by faith.
Oh, yes.
I have forgiven so and so by faith, and I let it go there.
Wow.
And then with the grace of God and with the, the way the Holy Spirit works in us, it slowly goes away. You just see it going, and one day you become completely free.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
There are certain things are so hard to forgive, but just declare them by faith.
That's true. That's true.
They are so heavy. Yes, that wound, the things that they have caused you. It's expensive. Failure can be expensive. I've seen failure of somebody that has caused which made them lose the whole business. I've seen failure that somebody has caused which made them go into debt, financial debt. So what do you do in that place? You carry such a heavy burden. You are hurt, and then this thing of unforgiveness is holding you. Not only unforgiveness, the bitterness. You become so bitter. But it is through the grace of God, and if you just do it by faith, God is able to help you to forgive that person.
Doctor, is an angle I'm also looking at it from. As much as you're choosing to forgive others where failures are concerned, you can also forget to forgive yourself.
Correct.
You can forget to forgive yourself and stick in that place. I have a testimony. Don't ask me to mention the real situation. I was not forgiving myself in something that I could not even get it out. I could not get out of it because the person I was dealing with is somebody who's already dead. You see? So I was condemning myself that I'm the one who caused it. I'm the one who was responsible. I wish I went. And I was carrying these things for many years. Not forgiving myself. This thing was not giving me peace. There is one day I just walked into my bedroom. I closed that door. I knelt beside my bed. I started praying. I told God, this one here, it is you who is going to take me out of this situation. Because it's not giving me peace at all.
Yes.
I was not forgiving myself. I prayed. I don't know how long I took there. By the time I was standing out from that prayer place beside my bed, I was delivered.
Oh, wow.
So forgiving yourself is also very important because you are holding yourself a victim of sometimes it is something that you have nothing to do.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do. It's a failure, it's a failure. It has happened.
It has happened.
It has happened. So learn also to forgive yourself and move ahead.
Don't become a victim.
Yes.
Don't become a victim of failure. Don't become a victim of guilt. Because the devil has a way of just taking us down with guilt, especially on the things that we caused. Because there are times it's not other people. We caused it.
Yes.
We caused the failure of that relationship, of that business, of that. And we feel responsible. But then this is a time really you give yourself a gift. I forgive Dorothy. And I like to say that. I like to personalize it. And I mention it and I declare it that, Dorothy, you are forgiven. Or, Dorothy, I forgive you. So that way, you give you the opportunity or the gift of forgiveness.
And I got a scripture then that there's no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. I am born again. I'm not tying myself here. I'm not condemned. Why is the enemy condemning me in this situation?
Yes.
There's nothing I can do about it. She is dead. Where am I going to get her? You
Wow.
see?
That's really powerful.
It's good. Forgive yourself and move on.
Forgive yourself and move on. That's really powerful. And I like the point which I wrote, resolve to succeed. Sister Veronica, I want you to hit on that.
Yes.
Resolve to succeed. And how do you do that? Or how do you reach that place?
You see now after you've gone through the failure, you've been hurt, you have weighed everything. Now you have decided that no matter what has happened, I need to reach there. I need to reach the goal. And that is now what we say, you've resolved. That despite the fact of what happened yesterday, despite of all the failures, despite of how I didn't do it well, or despite of how so-and-so hurt me, I'm resolving, I am choosing, I'm deciding that I'm still pressing towards the mark of the high calling.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yes.
All right, before I come back to you, Rose, I am going to go there. So resolve to succeed and start all over again.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. Give us practical example that you really had to, to resolve to succeed, or you came to a point that I will start all over again.
Resolve to succeed. Thank you, doctor. You could be doing a business and failing time and again, time and again. Having a positive mindset of not giving up is very important. You fall and rise again. It is with you. If you get discouraged, that is. But having resolved to succeed, I've made up my mind this thing will succeed.
Yes.
You have to have a positive mindset.
That's true.
Don't look at the failure as it is the only thing. Yeah? Give it a try. Do it again. Look at what you did wrong. Leave it out. Try another thing. As you try time and again, I don't think this failure which you're having now is the next failure you get. It will be a different degree of failure, not as heavy as this one.
Yes.
Because we say the failures are bound to come.
Yes.
Business has started and they die. But you don't say that I will not do business again. No, you go ahead.
That's true.
Have a positive mindset of whatever you're doing.
Yes.
Be positive.
Yes.
Don't listen to voices that discourage you. People will tell you, oh, they are so mad. You cannot do it. Don't listen to that. You be positive. Like, I want to start a company of producing ceramic cups.
Repackage yourself.
Yes, and do it afresh. You failed, yes, but don't look at this failure. Don't listen to the negative voices. Be positive that I can do it.
Yes.
And give it a start.
I love that. Do not let failure define you.
Yes.
Failure is not the end. Failure should not put an end to your vision, to your dream. Failure should not put the end to what God has already given you, to your assignment. In a relationship, Rose,
Yes.
and I'm going to come back to you over this thing. In relationship, how did you move on and you either resolved to succeed or you tried again? Where are you? Are you trying again, or are you in that position that, God, I will not be taken down by this? I don't know where you are, so speak to us about that.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Doctor. So, actually, I resolved to succeed.
Okay.
Yes, and I resolved to succeed by analyzing the situation. I analyze the situation, I just realized where it went wrong and how did it happen and what am I supposed to do so as it cannot happen and not to face same scenario. Yes, so as I decided to resolve to succeed, I'm now in a new relationship.
Amen.
Oh, wow, praise God. So you did not give up on that issue.
I didn't give up.
This is amazing. This is just amazing what is coming out of this discussion. We are resolving to succeed. We are resolving to try again. We are going to evolve. A lot of us, when we went through the pandemic, we learned the word to evolve. We learned the word that you gotta pivot. You learned the word to do it again, to do it different. There are certain words which they brought meaning to this conversation. That okay, so it's not working this way. Things have closed out. People are not coming out to your shop. People are not going to the ministry anymore. So we had to learn new ways of doing things. So literally, failure is a point that brings improvement. We learn new ways of doing things, and those new ways can be so efficient. And we also learn to be creative and innovative. And all this brings more success, and all this makes us better. So we become more creative. And we cannot just limit ourselves to that situation that has made us fail. I believe God is a God that can do things in thousands of different ways.
Amen.
So let us limit ourselves. Let us not limit ourselves.
Yes.
Let us have that mindset.
Yes.
It can be done differently.
Yes.
It can be done better. It can be done again.
Amen.
Yes. And then we learn to forgive and just to let it go.
Yes.
So we are here to encourage that person who is going through failure that God is faithful. If that relationship did not work, here is Rose, who is teaching us that you just analyze the situation, you forgive, you let it go, and then you let God bring somebody else.
Amen.
We have businesses right there. And I just want you to speak on your final thoughts on the chapter before I come to you.
Thank you, Doctor. I want to use this start all over again.
Yes.
As much as failure may sound painful, take it, lay it at the feet of Jesus, a child of God. Take that failure, lay it at the feet of Jesus, and start all over again.
Yes.
Don't stick with it. Don't stick at that level of failure. No, lay it at the feet of Jesus, leave it for Him, pick up your pieces, start all over again.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. That's very encouraging for somebody who's going through failure. You know, a lot of times we go through a season. Not every season is a season of success. Not every season is a season that you're doing well. There are those seasons that you go through failure, and such a statement brings so much encouragement in somebody. I hope somebody is being encouraged. What are your final thoughts on this?
I will just add up and finish with the story of Ruth.
Yes.
You know, Ruth is realizing that, well, I am in Israel. I don't belong to the Israelites. I am considered an outsider or an outcast.
Yes.
But then she's not stopping there. She's picking up herself and connecting. In fact, she started down from just picking the leftovers.
Yes.
And she's faithfully picking them, and she's being noticed. And as she was noticed, she was propelled to a higher level that nobody thought about.
Yes.
So there is that aspect of coming down and humbling yourself.
Yes.
Because that failure might humble you. But walking in that humility also has something behind it.
Yes.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, she was considered and she was included in the genealogy of Jesus.
Yes.
We cannot read the story of Ruth without reading the story of Jesus without reading the story of Ruth. It's such a profound story, starting from humble beginnings and accepting that, yes, I've lost a husband, but I am clinging on to this woman of God, to her people, the people of God, and to a place where there's God. And that's what she decided. So making the right decisions when you experience failure is it's very important.
That's true.
The decision can give you the right trajectory or the right place that you end up, or you can just say, you know what, I failed and this is it. No. The decisions that we should make is the decision that will help us and will also help others. When we fail, we should pray. We should accept we have failed. When we fail, we should go to God. We should direct our hardest emotions, not projecting them to other people and become better, but we should embrace, accept, not living in denial, but helping God to have that grace to forgive ourselves, to forgive others, to pick ourselves up. And God is so faithful to always pick us up and always help us, to embrace us and to help us try again. don't give up on your dream. God is in the process of unleashing what he has put inside you. And that's what we've been discussing about. And through failures and fumbles, these are just tools. Evolve, get up, try again, move forward, let it go and forgive. Thank you so much for being part of the discussion. We were doing chapter 9 with these amazing women of God. And with me, from far back, I have and
Veronica Onyango
and
Rose Godian.
Oh, thank you. And I'm Dr. Dorothy. And until next time, thank you.